This time we have model number 71048, and it comes in a plain outer shipping carton. But if we open it up, out comes a box in the familiar style of Diecast Masters Transport series. This model is a Freightliner Cascadia with a 40-foot dry goods sea container. If we turn the box around, we can see there's some information about the real truck. And there are also pictures of other models in the Transport series. The box is in the unusual pull-out style, so we stick a finger in and pull it out. And then we get to see what is inside. So we start out with the usual inclusion in a Diecast Masters model, and that's a mini brochure describing the various models in the Transport series. After that, we've got a small bag of parts, but there's no information describing what they're for. After that, we can take off the plastic former lid and lift out the various parts of the model, and that includes the container, the Cascadia, and the trailer. Let's start by taking a look at what was in the small bag. And that includes a plate, a screw and a spare screw. And the purpose of these parts is to be able to fit a towing hitch at the back of the Cascadia. To do that, you need a screwdriver and undo the small screw that's at the back, and then use one of the longer screws supplied to fit back the towing hitch. It's quick and easy, although the initial screw was in very tight, but we end up with a towing hitch. Next, we can connect up the trailer to the tractor, and the kingpin slots into the hole in the fifth wheel. After that, to complete the assembly, we fit the container onto the trailer. Let's start underneath the Cascadia, and there's some decent detailing including the gearbox and exhaust pipe, and there are a couple of large tanks. Much of the chassis detail is modelled in plastic, and there is the same tyre design on all wheels. The distinctive grille has a Freightliner badge at the top, and there are two large wing mirrors. The lights also look good, but there's no number plate on this generic model. Detail inside the cab is very good, and it includes Cascadia on the seat backs. And moving back outside, there's no glass in the door windows, but there's some nice small details including textured steps. And the chrome front wheels look pretty good. Behind the cab there are chrome grab rails, and nice fixings are shown for the side fairings. But there are no coiled lines. There's a textured tread plate behind the cab, and an interesting looking detail of both the wheels and the fairings on each side. At the back there are various painted light details, and the soft mud flaps are nice, and they have Freightliner written on them. The skeletal container trailer is nearly all metal, with the main exception being the landing leg structure. It's good to see that the kingpin can be relocated into different positions. At the back, the axles are reasonably detailed. Moving on, and the container is plastic, but there are plenty of graphics to add detail. Connection points on the trailer for hoses are also indicated by graphics. The side of the container has Maersk branding, and it's applied well across the container's ribs. There are more graphics on the sidebars, and at the back the chrome wheels look sharp. At the rear of the container the door detailing is pretty good, and the rear lights are painted on the trailer. Again, another nice touch are the soft mud flaps. The rear axles of the Cascadia spin very freely, and there's some reasonable movement of the steering axle, although it's a little bit loose. Out onto the Cranes etc. freeway, and the Freightliner moves well in a straight line. Oh, and you want to see the steering as well? Well, there it is, and it traces out a decent curve. Another nice piece of functionality is that the fifth wheel has an adjustable position. But there's more. You can also open up the hood, and there's no shock to find an engine underneath. You can open the cab door by sticking a finger in through the open window, and that gives you a first look at some of the detail inside. But if you want a better look, you can achieve that by taking the roof off, and that makes it easier to have a look at the detail inside. Moving on to the trailer, and the rear wheels spin freely, and you put the landing legs in position by using a folding design. And at least this does have the advantage of making the height properly set. There is also some functionality on the container, and that's because the rear doors can be opened and they fold back flat. And then you can store your everyday essentials inside. This is another well-presented model of an American haulage vehicle. The Cascadia tractor looks good and it has plenty of functionality. And the trailer looks good, although it would have been nice if the container had been metal. But overall it's a good looking detailed model, and it's rated as very good.